Hello dear students. In last class we have discussed about the overview of reduced syllabus of your business study second PUC. Let us see in today's class the preparatory examinations question paper with answers. So in last class we have discussed the reduced syllabus overview and the important concepts of each chapter. What are the topics included in each chapter and the marks allotted in the each chapter. So there are totally 12 chapters for this year. The 30% syllabus is to be reduced. Only 9 chapters are there for your syllabus that we have already discussed in previous class. And by considering the reduced syllabus, this year the preparatory examination question paper is to be based on reduced syllabus. So let us see the preparatory question paper of your business study. And in today's class, let us discuss the answers related to 1 marks and 2 marks. That is section A and section B. So which type of question they have asked in this preparatory exam April 2021 and how the answers are to be right. How the answers are to be written to get the full marks of 1 marks questions and 2 marks questions. Let us see the question paper of business study. This is what the question paper of your preparatory examination April 2021. So same as preparatory examination question paper, the annual exam question paper is to be framed. Number of sections, number of questions is to be given and how many questions are to be answered. This question paper is related to a reduced syllabus for this year. Only the 9 chapters are to be considered for this examination. So let us see the question paper of PUC second year preparatory exam April 2021 of the subject business studies. So here first they have given instructions to the students that you have to observe here. Here we can see that write the serial number of questions properly as given in the question paper while answering. Means students, we have to write the question number, that serial number, properly as given in the question paper while writing the answers. First you have to remember this. After that, write the correct and complete answer. While answering each question, we have to answer in a correct way and with the complete answers. Then you can easily get the full marks. These 2 instructions the student should follow while writing the exam. And here in section A, any 10 of the following questions in a word or a sentence each. While answering multiple choice questions, write the serial number and alphabet of the correct choice and write the answer correspondingly to it. Means in these sections there are 12 questions will be there. Among these 12 questions, we have to answer any 10 questions. Section A is related to 1 mark question. Means total 10 questions you have to answer. Each question carries 1 marks. So total 10 marks of section A. So here let us see the 12 questions. Before answering the questions, first we have to read the question paper thoroughly. That makes easy to identify the answers, which answers you have know to write in the answer paper. So before writing in the answer paper, first we have to read all the questions thoroughly, that which question is difficult for you and which question is easy, whether all the questions you have to know or not, that you have to observe it. So let us see the questions what they have given here. Which of the following is not a function of management? Planning, staffing, relative, controlling. This is the multiple choice question. While writing this question, while writing the answer, first you have to write question number 1 and below that answer with option. Next, who is called father of scientific management, which comes in the second chapter, principles of management. Then, which of the following does not characterize the business environment? This is also multiple choice question. They have given the options: uncertainty, employees, relativity, complexity. Fourth question, give an example of single-use plan. Next, what is centralization? Can accountability be delegated? Seventh, which of the following is not a function of staffing? Here, recruitment, training, compensation, directing. Then, state any one element of direction. Name any one type of graphic network. Expand CPM. Current assets are those which get converted into cash within 6 months, within 1 year, between 1 to 3 years, between 3 to 5 years. How do you calculate net working capital? Students, after reading all the 12 questions, if all 12 questions are easy to answer, then you have to answer all 12 questions. They have mentioned answer any 10, but in examination you have to answer 12 questions. Suppose if any one answer is to be written wrong, then the next question is to be considered for the correction. So for that sake, you have to answer all 12 questions. This is about section A. And in section B, here also they have given 12 questions. From these 12 questions, you have to answer any 10. Each question carries 2 marks. So total marks of section B is 20. The questions are: define management. State any two difference between unity of command and unity of direction. What is gangplank? Give the meaning of globalization. What do you mean by objectives? What do you mean by formal organization? What is orientation? Mention any two merits of internal source of recruitment. What do you understand by supervision? State any two elements of communication process. What do you understand by budgetary control? And write the formula to calculate debt service coverage ratio. So these are the 12 questions they have given in question paper. From these 12 questions, we have to answer any 10 questions. In this section also, if you know all 12 questions, you have to answer all 12 questions. Only in section A and in section B, additional questions are to be supposed to write. But while writing the section C and section D, you should not write any extra questions. Why? Because it consumes more time. This is for section A and section B. In today's class, these 24 questions, let us see the answers of section A and section B. And in question paper, section C. Here, the section C question, they have given 10 questions. From these 10 questions, you have to answer any 7. So, any 7 questions are to be answered. Each question carries 4 marks. The total number of marks of section C, that is 28. So, here the questions of each question is 4 marks. So, to get all 4 marks, at least you have to write 1.5 page. So, here the questions state the importance of management with any 4 points. Management is an art. Explain. While explaining this answer, we have to prove that management is an art with one example. Next, explain the principles of management, which is contributed by F.W. Taylor. Explain any 4 points to explain how much important the understanding of business environment is to managers. Explain any 4 limitations of planning. Distinguish between formal and informal organization by taking any 4 points. How does training and development of employees benefits the organization? Briefly explain any 4 semantic barriers to communication. Explain briefly the steps involved in controlling process. Explain with any 4 points the importance of financial planning. So these are the questions they have given in section C. From these 10 questions, you have to answer any 7. 3 additional questions will be there. So first you have observe. After reading the questions, first you have to identify which answers you know to write in a correct way. Select any 7 questions to answer in the answer paper. And in next section D. In section D, they have given 6 questions. From these 6 questions, you have to answer any 4 questions. So each question carries 8 marks. Total marks will be 32. This is very important section because the maximum marks is to be scored from section D and section C. The questions explain the characteristics of management. What is planning? Explain the various features of planning. Explain the importance of organizing. Describe the steps involved in selection process. Explain the qualities of a good leader. Then briefly explain any 8 factors affecting the working capital required of an organization. So in previous class, I have told you that in last chapter, they may ask factors affecting the working capital required of an organization or factors affecting the fixed capital required of an organization. From these 2 questions, any one question is to be asked for your examination. This is what about section D. And last section, that is section E. practical oriented questions. In these sections, they will give 3 questions. Among these 3 questions, you have to answer any 2 questions. Each question carries 5 marks. Total marks of section E, that is 10. So here, the practical oriented questions from each chapter, the total 9 chapters will be there. So first question they may ask from first 3 chapters. Second question is from next 3 chapters, and third question is from last 3 chapters. So first question they have given, show the different elements of business environment that influence the success of business enterprises with the need diagram. You have to write the elements of business environment. Next, as a manager of an organization, what logical steps you follow in planning process before executing a project. Then last one, as a financial consultant, give a list of any 10 factors which affect the choice of capital structure. So this is what about the question paper. So before writing the answer paper, thoroughly you have to read the question paper, that each question whether you know the answer or not, that you have to identify. Then after that you have to start writing the answers in a systematic way. Let us see the section A and section B answers in today's class. So here, section A, the total number of questions will be 12. From these 12 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions. First question, that is, which of the following is not a function of management? Options: planning, staffing, cooperating, controlling. So let us recall the functions of management. There are 5: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So these are the functions of management. Planning is there, staffing is there, controlling is there, planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and controlling. But there is no cooperating. So what they have given, which of the following is not a function of management? So here cooperating is not the function of management. So answer is C, cooperating. Next, who is called the father of scientific management? Who is called the father of scientific management? That is F.W. Taylor. The full name of F.W. Taylor is Frederick Winslow Taylor. He is called the father of scientific management. Next, which of the following does not characterize the business environment? Does not characterize the business environment. The options are uncertainty, employees, relativity, complexity. So here the characteristics of business environment is not related to employees. Only it is related to uncertainty, relativity, and complexity. So answer is employees. Next, give an example of single-use plan. An example of single-use plan is budget. Only a single person is going to utilizing the activities. For example, we can say as a budget. Next, what is centralization? What is centralization? So here the 2 words will be there, whether they may ask for a what is decentralization or what is centralization. In this question paper they have asked what is the meaning of centralization. So answer is centralization is the authority to make important decisions is retained by the top level managers. So centralization is nothing but what? Where the authority is to be taken to take or to make important decisions by the top level managers is called as centralization. You have to remember that centralization is nothing but what? It is the authority which is to make the decisions by the top level managers. That is called as the centralization. Next, sixth question. Can accountability be delegated? So here there are three elements as there that we have already know: authority, responsibility and accountability. So they have asked here whether can accountability be delegated? No, it cannot be delegated at all. Delegation means what? Transferring the authority from top level to lower level. So here accountability cannot be delegated. So you have to write no, it is cannot be delegated to all. Next, which one of the following is not a function of staffing? So here staffing functions: recruitment, training, compensation and directing. So here function of staffing is recruitment, training and compensation, but directing is not a function of staffing. So the answer is directing. Next, state any one element of directing. That is supervision. So there are the elements of directing is supervision, leadership, communication that we have studied in chapter directing. Supervision, there are mainly four directing elements are there. One is supervision, motivation, leadership and communication. So from that four elements only one you have to write, that is any one from four elements supervision. You have to remember the elements of directing are supervision, motivation, leadership, communication. So from that four elements you have to write any one element, that is supervision, or we can write motivation also, or leadership or communication. Next, name any one type of graphic network. So graphic network is nothing but the information is to be communicated with a network. For example, gossip network. Next, expand CPM. It is nothing but critical path method. CPM means critical path method. Next, current assets are those assets which get converted into cash. Current assets are those assets which can convert it into cash. Options: within 6 months, within 1 year, between 1 to 3 years, between 3 to 5 years. So whether current assets are converted as a cash means the time period will be within 1 year, that is say B option. And last question, that is how do you calculate net working capital, which comes under financial management chapter, that is last chapter. How do you calculate net working capital? So we have already studied in accountancy also and in economics also. So net working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. It is a very simple formula. Net working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. So these are the 12 questions they have given in section A. From these 12 questions, we have to answer any 10 questions. But while writing in the answer set, we have to write all the answers, because If any one answer is wrong, then the next answer is to be considered for your correction. Let us see the section B. So here also they have given 12 questions. From these 12 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions. Each question carries 2 marks. So first question, that is define management. Very important question. According to Harold Koch and Hinge Virich, management is a process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in two groups efficiently accomplish selected aims. So here there are 2 definitions given in the textbooks. If you have make easy or follow the definition which is makes easy to you, that definition you can write. Just I have written here one of the definition according to Harold Koch. What he says, management is one of the process. Which type of process it is? It is a process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in a 2 groups. Means management is nothing but it is one of the process which helps to design and maintain an environment of the individuals to make working together in 2 groups efficiently to accomplish the selected aims. The individuals makes to work together to reach the aims of the organization. That the Harold Koch is going to say. This is one of the definition. In question, if they ask to write the definition, then you have to write according to whom you are going to explain it. Suppose if they ask to write only the meaning of management, then it is not necessary to write according to whom. But if they mention definition, define, then compulsory we have to answer with according to whom you are going to defining the word management. That you have to remember here. Next, state any 2 difference between unity of command and unity of direction. So unity of command and unity of direction as the principles of management. That you have to make the difference between both the principles here. Unity of command prevents dual subordination. Unity of command prevents dual subordination, whereas unity of direction prevents overlapping of activities. This is one of the difference. And second difference, unity of command affects an individual employee. Unity of command affects an individual employee, whereas unity of direction affects the entire organization. So these are the 2 difference between unity of command and unity of direction. Next, what is gangplank? Gangplank is a short route in a scalar chain which allows employees at the same level of communicate with each other directly. It should be used only in the case of emergency. Means if the employees having emergency to communicate with each other directly, then gangplank process is to be carried on. So here we can say it is the shortcut route to communicate the employees in the same level with each other directly. That is called as the gangplank. And it should be used only in the case of emergency. It is called as gangplank. Next, give the meaning of globalization. Globalization means integration of the various economies of the world leading towards the emergency of a cohesive global economy. So globalization is nothing but it is the integration of various economies which is leading to the emergence of a cohesive global economy. Next, 17th question, that is, what do you mean by objectives? So, objectives can be said to the desired future position that the management would like to reach. Objectives is nothing but what? The management having the responsibility to desire the future position of the business organization. Means you have to reach the goal of the organization, that we can say as objectives. Objectives can be said to be the desired future position that the management would like to reach. Next, give the meaning of formal organization. Formal organization refers to the organization structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. Formal organization is nothing but it refers to the organization structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task is called formal organization. They may ask the meaning of formal organization or informal organization. Formal organization is nothing but it is the organization structure which is to be designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. Next, what is orientation? Orientation, which comes under training and development. Here, orientation is introducing the selected employees to other employees and familiarizing him with the rules and policies of the organization. Orientation is nothing but after completion of the selection process, after making the recruitment of the employees, then you have to select the right person for a right job. After selecting an employee in the organization, you have to give the detailed information of a organization, rules and regulations or policies of the organization. That introducing the selected employee to familiarize him the rules and policies of the organization is called orientation. Giving the detailed information of the organization to the selected employee is called orientation. Next, mention any two merits of internal source of recruitment. So here, sources of recruitment, there are two are there, internal sources and external sources. So in internal sources, they have to write any two merits, or we can say as advantages. So which are those? Let us see. What is the meaning of internal sources of recruitment? So while the process of recruitment internally means within organization, you have to make the recruitment of an employee. So here there are mainly two options will be there, that is promotion and transfer. So while observing 2 points, that is internal source of recruitment, that is promotion or it may be the transfer. In existing employees only you have to make the recruitment, that is called as the internal source of recruitment. So what are the advantages or two merits? Let us see. Employees are motivated to improve their performance, and a promotion at a higher level. Promotion at a higher level may lead to a chain of promotion at lower levels in the organization. So first advantage is what? Employees are motivated to improve their performance, which helps in the internal source of recruitment, and the promotion of an existing employees can lead to change the promotion at the lower levels in the organization. So from lower level to the higher level, the post is to be promoted to the employees. That is one of the merit. First we can say as employees are motivated to improve their performance, and from lower level to higher level the employee is to be promoted in the organization. Then internal recruitment also simplifies the process of selection and placement. So here internal recruitment, it is also one of the process of selection and placement of an employee, or we can make the transfer from the one department to the another department without any changes making their responsibility. So these are the two advantages of internal sources of recruitment. Next, that is, what do you mean by supervision? This is an element of direction. So there are mainly four are there that we have already seen in the 1 mark question. That is supervision, motivation, leadership and communication. So they have asked, what do you understand by supervision? Supervision is nothing but what? Observing the work process of the employees. That we can say here, the process of guiding the efforts of employees and other sources to accomplish the desired objectives are called supervision. Supervision is one of the process to guide the efforts of the employees and also the sources to accomplish the desired objectives of the organization are called supervision. This is the supervision. Next, 22nd question. State any two elements of communication process. So elements of communication process. So communication, which is called as the elements of direction. So they have asked two elements of communication, that is sender. One is sender and message. Sender means sender is the person who is going to transferring the information to the receiver. So that we can say here, sender means person who conveys his thoughts or ideas to the receiver. The sender represents source of communication. This is one of the element of communication process. Means here sender is the person who is transferring his thoughts or ideas to the receiver. He represents source of communication. Second, message. It is the contents of message means it is the contents of ideas, feelings, suggestions, order, etc. intended to communicate it. So these are the two elements of communication process. One is sender and the other one is messenger. So sender means he is a person who is going to convey the information or thoughts or ideas to the receiver, and he represents the source of communication. And the one message. It is the ideas, feelings, suggestions or orders which is intended to be communicated. Next, that is, what do you understand by budgetary control? So budgetary control is a technique of managerial control in which all operations are planned in advance in the form of budget and actual results are compared with budgetary standards. So budgetary control is nothing but it is one of the technique of managerial control in which the operations are planned in advance. Budgetary control is nothing but the management technique, one of the management technique, that is budgetary control, to make the plan in advance for the budgets and actual results are compared with the standards of budgets. And last question in the 2 marks, that is, write the formula to calculate debt service coverage ratio. So here the formula is the calculation of the debt service coverage ratio. Profit after tax plus depreciation plus interest plus non-cash expenses is whole divided by preference dividends plus interest plus repayment obligations. So this is what the formula to calculate debt service coverage ratio. Profit after tax means after reducing the tax, what will be the profit that you have to consider here. Then depreciation is nothing but the value of reduced asset, interest, non-cash expenses. So these are the items that you have to write in the while calculating the debt service coverage ratio. This is what the formula. So these are the 12 questions of section B. From these 12 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions. So in today's class, we have discussed a section A and section B. So if possible, in examination, you have to answer all 24 questions. Why? Because in section A and in section B, there is no more time is to be consumed. Why? Because it is only 1 marks and 2 marks questions. So you have to answer all the questions. If any one question is to be written wrong, then the correct answer is to be considered while evaluation. So this is what the question paper of preparatory exam April 2021. In today's class, we have completed section A part and section B. In next class, let us see the answers of section C, section D and section E. So how the long answers are to be written and for which answers we have to focus or give the importance while writing the answers to get full marks. So in today's class, we have completed the preparatory examination question paper with answers of section A and section B. So in section A, they have given 12 questions. From that 12 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions. In the same sense, in section B also, they have given 12 questions. From that 12 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions. Let us continue in the next class. Thank you.